That looks gorgeous where you live with the lake.
Hi, gorgeous.
Hey girl, how are you? Yeah, definitely. No, yeah, so
Nice.
my background, gosh, so similar to you, like you right, like the sort of government background was there. So I sort of, left school at 17 and I was always very entrepreneurial from school. I was like, I will be a business owner. Like I'm not gonna have a job because it's just not what I want. So of course I just didn't see any point in going to university because I'm not trying to get employed. I'm trying to be a businesswoman.
Yeah.
So I would think it was when I was at school, I was okay, I want to work in marketing. Like I knew I wanted to work in marketing. And, teachers and fellow students would say, well, Jazz, you need to go to university to work in marketing. It's the only way. And I was like, no, like watch me. Like you watch. And so I sort of quit. I dropped out of school, like sort of college. Um when I was 17, I got like a job in just sort of like a business admin job, as like an apprentice, which is a bit like an internship thing where you get paid to learn. And then because I was only like 17, by the time I finished, because I was 18 with like a year's working experience, I was able to apply for like all these like apprenticeships and like trainee jobs where people my age would also be applying.
So
But
by the
as
time you're 18, you had like a year's worth of experience, you're
Exactly.
saying.
So I was like ahead of the game essentially. So I managed to like land myself like a really exciting marketing role in government where I was able to just train and stuff. And then after like a year and a half working there, I was in a position where I was like, okay, public sector isn't for me. Like I'm gonna go into the private sector. So that's where I sort of delved into like my career in like other creative agencies, other marketing agencies. And then obviously I just saw like what my bosses were doing, what, they were obviously CEOs of like marketing agencies. And I was like, okay, cool, I can do this. And then that's when I sort of got into freelancing. So I started off just like freelancing on the side. By the time I've had all my jobs and sort of built a career for myself, I'm probably about just 20, sort of
Okay.
20, 21. Uh,
Nice.
and then I think it was around 21, that's when I really like set up my first business where I was like a freelance. And I was like, the first thing I went into was the first avenue of marketing I really honed in on as like a self-employed business owner was web design. So getting into web development because I just saw that I just thought, okay, I need like some sort of digital technical skill I'm gonna be able to like just pack up and offer to people. So that was like my initial service. And then yeah, I've just been
Can I
doing
ask you
that.
a question? Was that hard? Because it's competitive, right? Like was it like word of mouth, friends? How did you get
Yeah.
website development
So
clients?
interestingly enough, so my colleague at the time, Alan, he was a web developer within the company, and I asked him, like, oh, how do I do web? And he showed me, how to do websites. So I just kept learning. And I went to go get my car from my local mechanic, and I said to him, he was like, oh, what are you up to? Like, what do you do for work? I was like, oh, I'm a freelance web designer, but I only like decided that like a week ago. But I was like, yeah, I'm a freelance web designer. And then he just said, "Oh, I need a website." So he was like my first ever client.
Yay! That's always
I just,
exciting, right? You're the first client you get
yeah,
as your
it
own
was
is
so
always so
exciting.
exciting.
So
Yeah.
I did his website for him, but like ever since
What
him,
did you charge, if I may ask? Because I think we tend to lowball ourselves when we're first getting in because we want to get the client and then we realize this
yeah,
is not enough money to live on and pay staff and whatever. And then we up our prices as our experience level
yeah.
grows. So how much did you charge him for your first website?
It was barely anything. So like my first ever sale was well £750.
Okay,
But for a first time that is quite impressive because
that
there are
is.
few newbies who will start off around like the 250 or £500 mark. And now like obviously my like one of the latest projects I did was like 7,500. So it's like
Right.
it's like it has really gone up. But yes, obviously I did that for him, and then ever since him I've just never not had like work like I've never not had a website client or clients. So it's like that was probably like just before the lockdown. So that was probably yeah, 5 or 6 years ago now. Sort of when I was 20, yeah. So yeah, and then ever since then I've just been, and then I was still working, as well and doing that on the side. And then it was probably during lockdown when I was working in another government role in networking, like network engineering. I was like doing the business, the freelancing full time. And I was like, I can actually do this full time, like the demand's there. And then that's when I founded the beauty of marketing, because I just really, really enjoyed working with the beauty businesses and the beauty sector the most. So
Okay,
that's why I
okay.
thought I'm gonna basically create an agency where beauty businesses can come and get all their marketing needs met. And that's where I was like, I just instantly, the beauty of marketing just came into my head, and I just registered it, like did the domain, everything, built a website, and the branding was all pink and sparkly and stuff, at the beginning. But now obviously I've transitioned and changed, and the branding and stuff. And but yeah, it's going really well, and there's definitely a demand for it. So I'm having fun, and yeah.
So how did you get into Shopify? And I know it's not just you, like you have to have a team because you have
Yeah.
different elements. I know you guys do the research and all that stuff. So tell me about moving from website to Shopify and working with some of these beauty brands. And then, what you learned in terms of best practices or what works for conversions. And then we'll look at some sites.
Yeah, of course. So I find like beauty retail like super fun. So for me, I was like, okay, I'm clearly like a very good web designer. Like people, want to hire me. But then, e-commerce is like a whole nother avenue. So I was like,
Yeah.
gotta get into that Shopify area and build stunning Shopify sites. So yeah, it was an active choice to be like, I'm actively gonna learn Shopify and work with Shopify and become a Shopify designer, because obviously we offer like a 360 service. So with our like product shoots and photography and stuff like that, all of that connects. And I was like, okay, we need to obviously the website to go with that. So then we could offer like the ultimate e-commerce package. And yeah, again, just learning and becoming a Shopify partner, and doing smaller sites and then bigger ones and bigger ones. And that was that really. That's pretty much, yeah.
What do you
Because
need to become a Shopify partner? And what does that mean? That obviously means that you're like a preferred vendor or something, or you're really skilled or credentialed in it. Is that what it
yeah.
means?
Oh, yeah. So obviously you, as a business, as a web design agency or a marketing agency, you just sign up as a Shopify partner. And
Okay.
then obviously you can like become an affiliate. So you can like set up all your customer stores on there, manage them, design them in development mode. And then you can publish them and transfer the site ownership to your clients. But then you can sort of keep commissions and stuff like that, right? It's just an easy way for like web designers such as myself to use Shopify, with a few, sort of few exclusive access to things that, because Shopify has two sides of the business. They have like a bit like Wix. They have the part where like business owners can do it themselves. So they have that sort of front end of it. And then they've got like the side for like businesses like us who can access all the development sort of features.
Tools, right.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
so what did you learn? So we're going to look at some Shopify sites, but what did you learn and how? Okay, yeah. So what did you learn as you got into Shopify, things that other people wouldn't know that you're able to implement into sites as a professional to make them look better or work better or convert better? You know what I mean? So there's you, and then there's the average, Mary. And Mary's like, I'm going to open up my own Shopify site. And she does that. She puts up her pictures and whatever. But then
Mhm.
there's you, the professional that has access to developer tools. You have all these years of experience, all these different clients. So there's definitely some best practices and stuff that you must have learned over the
Yeah, of
years.
course.
So yeah.
I think because years ago, like years and years ago, when I had my own little e-commerce shop, before I was even much into websites, like trying to navigate and customize and just sort of have a vision for your website is very hard. Like the thing about
Mm,
Shopify is it's obviously a front end builder and you can purchase themes, but as a Shopify designer, like it's quite nice to like have those themes to go off and then manipulate them and change them. But I think Shopify is great as well because of all the features that they've got already. Um, and to be honest, like you don't really have to customize too much. You just need to know. Because for me, what's missing with Shopify templates, when you download them and they're quite blank, the main things that are missing, you're like, oh, where's all this magic gone? It's literally just your imagery, obviously your font, your choice of fonts, and your color scheme. And I feel like as an agency that specializes in like brand imagery and photo shoots, because we've got all that content to fill the site with, that's probably like the main stuff that actually makes a website pop, is like the content, like the professional imagery, obviously like the color schemes, and like just making sure it's branded. But because you could take like one Shopify sort of template and you could make that for like 5 different brands with just different imagery, different color scheme, different fonts, and it would look like completely different, because it's all
Oh.
about for me, it's all about the actual content. I think that's where like the magic is, and that's part of like the main design, rather than trying to get too overcomplicated and too technical with everything. It's really about, okay, well, there's going to be a video here, a picture here, but it's all about product placement, everything. There's so much I could go on and on, but yeah, don't know.
Okay, okay. So wait, when you were saying someone's going to ask you something, oh, I know. So you were saying that you guys specialize in building the whole Shopify site, making them custom, and um, you're talking about the branding and the photography part. So this is a question that I have for you, because again, with this client that I have, we'll take a look
Mhm.
at one of their sites in a second, but they get upset with manufacturers that send them just like shit, 1 or 2 dimensional images. So do people, like, if I had a line of 50 different face products, let's say I had toner, moisturizer, cleanser,
Yeah,
whatever, would I send all of that to you and then you take pictures of them, or do
yeah,
you, that's
yeah.
what
That's
happens?
that's
Okay.
what we do in our content studio. So a client will obviously have like quite a wide catalog or a small catalog. Will send us the product. So we do like
Okay.
the white background photography, which is like super, super professional, because even that white background, which is just your plain picture, like that you have on your catalog on your website, has to be like really, really high quality, because obviously you're trying to sell it, right? So we do all of that as like a bundle, and then we do like your actual hero shots, which is like all your products together, all styled and sort of
Mm.
lifestyle and stuff like that. But yeah, that's sort of just you're better off just doing the whole photo shoot and getting all your white background images. And the good thing is as well, because we're like international, anyone can send it from anywhere in the world, and we'll do it and upload it to the Shopify site and stuff. So it's just really convenient and handy to have that professional service available. So yeah, it's
And
good.
then where do you put products? You just like sort of put them on tables, you put them in people's hands, because you're talking about placement shots, right?
Yeah.
So
So
just
for
whatever
example,
makes sense.
like if it's like a summary, if it's like a summer seat, like a summery shoot, like that's summer themed, we would create a fake beach within the studio with sand, water, everything,
Ooh.
sunlight, shadows, and we would literally create like a lifestyle images at the beach, or it could be on a picnic. We create it all in the studio. We recently did one with like honeycomb with honey dripping, and it's any theme, whatever the theme is. But as a team, we usually come up with like creative direction. So if like your products have like apple stem cells or something, we will incorporate like apples in the shot, because it's all to do with like ingredient based, time of the season, what the theme is. It's real creative, so it could be pretty much anything, but it's all done in our studio, which is just like literally like a photography studio with our photographer Sam. So yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, how many people? Because that's always fun. Like one of the things I was happy about when I was looking for a new opportunity, it's like when I'm the head marketing person, there's no other like intellectual savvy marketing people to speak to like bounce ideas off of. And I remember missing that. And so it sounds like you have that with your team. So how many of you are there, and what do you guys each do? So there's Sam the photographer, because then you guys get to bounce these ideas off each other. Oh, I think we should do this. I think we should do that. That must be really
Yeah.
fun. So who was on your team?
Yeah, so you got Sam the photographer, and then I've got my interns as well that do mainly like social media, assist with web design as well. But again, like it's early days, so like I'm actually moving the business from Manchester to London, in a few months' time. So I'm actually currently like looking to hire, new talent in London and sort of grow the team there. But we'll certainly be looking for like a creative director, an ad specialist,
Ooh, wow.
social media manager and stuff like that and branding and stuff like that. But for me, I think my biggest struggle is like trying to find someone else who like can build websites the way that I do in the way that I want
Mm.
it. And I do struggle to find good web designers that get it, but I think there's obviously a lot of talented ones out there. It's just about like again, like you said, like bouncing off each other and making sure that the vision is coming to life, because yeah,
Mhm.
I value that a lot. It's what my clients value in me, so I have to make sure that I can trust someone. But at the moment, I'm just doing like all website projects myself still.
Oh, and so
Yeah.
what about how important is like SEO content and the written part of it? So we've talked about the pictures, the photography, the theme, the brand. How important is the written part of it, and how much do you use video?
Video, what on a website?
Yeah, like on a
Yeah,
Shopify
so
site.
yeah, so like with plugins and sort of extensions like Toolstoy and stuff like that, which is like a online UGC sort of um, like plugin that you can add to your website and upload like your UGC content and your TikTok videos and stuff. And then people can actually shop. It's like shoppable, so people can shop these skincare tutorials, beauty tutorials, all like organic iPhone content on the website. Which I think is within the beauty industry is so important now, like to have those sort of social proof, those that sort of carousel of videos of people trying your products. You can click on it, watch it, unboxing, all that stuff, just to bring the brand to life and sort of create like a virtual experience that otherwise it's just going to fall too flat. So it's sort of adding that social element to your website, which is really, really smart. So yeah, video is definitely like really, really important. It gives people an opportunity to like learn visually rather than just reading like ingredients
Mm.
and how-tos and all that marketing jargon. It's an opportunity to go, oh wow, this person's using it. So, it must be a product that I really want to try. So yeah, video is like really, really to bring that social element, video is really important.
And then what about written content? How important is that for like SEO or discoverability? Is Shopify good for SEO on like search
So
engines?
yeah, so important. Obviously, just stay away from ChatGPT because that will bring your SEO ranking down. Because obviously, they get all their content from the internet, and like when Google crawls your website, they're looking for like original copywriting, original content. If it's copied, that's gonna really like sort of bog it down and sort of
They
you
can,
get
so people can tell, like, so the search engines can tell now if it's
yeah,
AI generated.
yeah, and because it's what ChatGPT does is it derives content from already existing content, usually. So you might get away with it, but if you are going to use ChatGPT, just use it as like a guide and then, just rewrite, adding some of your own words because obviously it is an amazing tool that's amazing. But it's probably best you don't just like copy and paste straight off but yeah, obviously content's really, really important. Like if you're a an international selling brand, it's really important just to like put, just little things like putting international, worldwide, etc. So then you will get picked up by like any part of the world, just little things like that. Do you know what I mean? Because then Google will read that like, oh, worldwide shipping, for example, and then you will get picked up in
Oh,
more countries
wow.
rather than if
See?
you just say like US shipping or UK shipping, then you're just going to be picked up in those countries. So just little things like that are like really important.
Oh, wow.
And then obviously
Okay.
like backlinks, etc., stuff like that. If you're featured in like any articles, you've got like press releases, if you've got logos of those press releases, maybe just link the URL to that article because backlinks are really good as well for SEO and stuff like that.
All right. All right, Queen. Woo! Okay. I'm going to share my screen. We'll look at the Ocean Potion site and then I'll make you host and then you can just sort of walk me, us, the crowd through stuff that you've done or different designs or whatever. So let
Yeah,
me,
perfect.
do you hang out on the websites? Like, do you hang out on different social media platforms so that you can kind of know what's working? Because when you were talking about UGC and social proof and stuff like that, I'm thinking about, for me, it seems like beauty stuff works best on maybe Instagram and TikTok compared to Facebook. I don't know about YouTube. So, while you're setting up, I wanted to know what social media platforms you go on to. And are you on there mainly for like social reasons for yourself, or is it kind of research, seeing what else is out there so that you can get ideas, and then which platforms are really good for social media and health and beauty?
All of them. Obviously, like I think
Okay.
obviously like even Pinterest is so good because I feel like people just turn to social media, even myself, just to be inspired. Whether they're setting up their own beauty brand or they want to buy a beauty brand, it's all about being inspired and sort of being moved a little bit. So and it's all about aesthetics as well. So anything that's like really aesthetically pleasing on Facebook, you don't get the opportunity to like have an aesthetic feed or showcase your style or what inspires you or what you're about aesthetically. So Facebook doesn't do so well with that in that industry anymore. But things like TikTok, again, it does well with like content and like more wow factors like this is a new product or like oh my gosh I need to try that or the new trending stuff anything that's like quick but Instagram really gives you the opportunity to like showcase what you've got in your bag, what's on the shelf, what you're buying, like everything, like how to look the part, so then and then Pinterest is the same as well, but you're more likely to go to Pinterest to like create a mood board and sort of think, oh, what do I want to be about, who am I as my everyone's sort of working on their personal brand, what sort of product should I shop to be on brand, how should I smell to be on brand, how should my hair look to be on brand. So I think with that being said, like within beauty and fashion, that's really becoming such a huge part of like of that. So yeah, I think maybe Instagram and Pinterest are probably the best for like lifestyle brands, and a lot of beauty brands are trying to become more lifestyle brands. And then TikTok's just great for like just video and beauty tips and hacks and stuff like that. And
Yeah,
fun.
like I always see people, oh, I just tried this new thing, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And they show people,
Yeah.
yeah.
Entertainment. TikTok is very entertaining, so it's great for entertainment. And you can entertain with beauty and styling tips as well. So that's good.
Okay, so here we are. So I'm just gonna scroll slowly, and then you can just like comment, like, what do you think of the top? Like, they got this there. Is there anything that you would change? Is that
Yeah,
okay?
absolutely. So
You're
so
like,
with
absolutely.
yeah, so we're in 2024, right? So we're in a day and age where these women surfing just isn't what we're about anymore. No one's body looks like that. It's not relatable. It's not very inclusive. It's just very early 2000s sort of marketing, and branding, which just doesn't connect with anybody. And especially if Ocean Potion, as you say, is a sort of SPF skincare protection
Yeah.
brand,
Hmm.
then you need to be about obviously like the people, well-being, wellness, and really think about who's your target audience here. Is it young hot girls surfing? I doubt it. It's more going to be like probably families and people probably like above the age of 30, like well and truly who actually care about SPF. So again, just that initial first imagery is like, whoa, it's way off the mark. It depends. Like obviously, if you're like a hot girl tanning brand or tanning oil, then yeah, it's great, But I just don't feel like it's on brand right now.
That's like we're just above the fold. We haven't even gotten into the rest of the site, and that's already gold because I remember their fourth product. It's sunglasses and luggage. So their brand is called Moda. So they have Moda, which is sunglasses and luggage. They have Ocean Potion, which is this sunblock stuff. They have the Sea Wag, that's the protection stuff, and they have a Charge Life, which is charger. So I'm glad I remembered them all.
Yeah. Okay,
But
cool.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah, this is just the stuff that's above the fold, and they are a wholesale supplier to retail stores in the travel and leisure industry. So their stuff is in those like convenience stores at hotels,
mhm. Yeah.
attractions, water parks.
Everywhere that families are going to be with their kids,
Yeah,
etc.
so you're
Very
right.
family
Now that as soon as you
oriented
said that,
locations.
yeah, as soon
Yeah.
as you said that, I'm like, okay, so they're for vacation spots on cruises and stuff. And you're right, it's not like necessarily hot girl tan stuff where they're even housing their products. So that was just
Yeah.
freaking, I mean, we haven't even gone below the fold and you already came up with such gold. And you're right. I couldn't put my finger on it. When I saw this, I was like, okay, it's kind of sexy, but you're right. It reminds me of like Baywatch days. It is, you said
Yeah.
early 2000s. You're so right. And I couldn't put my
Yeah.
finger on it, but that was freaking gold. Okay.
But yeah, like, this is what I mean though. This is why it's so important to know your customer, know who you're targeting. Like when it, because I feel like a lot of brands, like when it comes to online, it's like, oh, just go with anything that looks attract, like anything that's going to attract people. And I get that, but
This is attractive to men, though. This is not even
yeah.
attractive to women, right?
And
I
that's why I
don't.
said it's like that early 2000s, sort of like, ugh, are we still in those times? But yeah, I just think, that's why it's really important to know your customers. So yeah, if you keep going, we'll look more. So ocean inspired, quality driven, experience the scent of sunshine. So without you even telling me what this product is, if I'm just on this website because I've seen an ad or it's popped up or something, or I just go on it, um, I'm just gonna be like, okay, this isn't really giving me like, for starters, there's nothing. I'm already like two scrolls down. There's nothing shoppable. There's no product I can add to cart. If I've just come here from an ad because I've seen your ad or I've seen you in store and I've visited your website, I just want to shop. And even now, there's nothing for me to shop. It's just shop all. But it's like, why would you even give the customer more work to do? It should instantly be like a selection of. I don't know how big the catalog is, but it should be a selection of like top three, top five products, add to cart, add to cart, add to cart, and then you can go down to like the brand story,
Okay.
giving more insight into what the brand's about. But again, I
That's
would,
true because they're not even sure. I know what the product is, and that's why I like fresh
yeah,
eyes. But you're right. Someone coming to the site would not know what the hell Ocean Potion is. You don't
yeah,
know you
and
can buy it.
there's,
Okay.
but if it literally had like the products and it was like Sun Ocean or SPF cream, you can just be like, oh, that's what it is, and you can just shop it, and that's probably the best way to do that. So yeah, if we keep going. We love our ocean. Okay, so it's a sustainable, non-toxic, protected. So obviously this brand is all about sustainability, the environment, the ocean, which is lovely. But again, it's like mismatched with the whole brand imagery. Like 1 minute it's like hot girl summer, and then now it's like we love the ocean, save the whales. And it's like, what is this brand really about? It needs consistency. And I feel like it just needs a bit of a stronger brand story. It probably has a strong one, but it's just not being communicated and translated clear enough on the website yet.
Okay. So
Um,
now they show some products.
okay, yeah, cool. So if that was just at the top, it would be like, okay, cool, sunscreen spray. Again, it's missing the price, it's missing a buy now button, just little things like that is obviously like a
Okay.
massive error. Okay, so obviously, yeah, this image, I don't have to say much, but it's completely irrelevant. There's okay, maybe there's oranges because there's an element of like vitamin C or something, but again, it's not telling that. It's just another woman that's, quite attractive and it's completely off brand. Um, oh gosh, yeah, and then we've got the
They
photo.
just stuck the sunblock on a picture of a lady with oranges by her eyes, but
Yeah,
there's no connection
it's
really.
obviously stock images, and it's consumer can tell that. Okay, scent of sunshine, fragrance. Okay, this is all about like just the fragrance. Again, the content placement is just, yeah, it's not
Yeah.
the way it's sort of done. And then again, like the target customer, I just don't think that's their ideal target customer. I think I'd want to see imagery of families at the beach and sort of kids in the water and stuff like that. High performance lotion. But yeah, if we keep going down.
So from what I was distracted, but you're not really overly impressed with the images or the content over here on this right side.
Oh, no,
No,
not at all.
okay.
It's authentic. It's obviously like from stock imagery and it's just not authentic enough. Um,
And they're just
and
like putting pictures on top of pictures, right? They're
yeah,
just
and
putting
yeah,
okay.
yeah, exactly, which is like a big, big no. And then sunscreen spray. It's
Mm.
like again, well, I'm very overwhelmed with what I should buy. I have no idea which one to choose. I've got sports sunscreen, I've got SPF 70. I want to be told what I need. I want to be told that what SPF
I
is good
don't
for
know
my
how to
skin.
get rid of this thing out of here. My goodness.
Fine.
Okay.
But yeah, like I said, I'm overwhelmed with what I should buy. It's like, gosh, I need to be told really like what SPF is best for my skin type. Who am I? Like it's all about the consumer, all about the customer, the end user at the end of the day. In a sea full of options, there is one clear choice. Yeah. It's quite good. It's just not positioned in the best place. All
This
right,
is
now
just,
we're on
yeah.
more, even more products, and it's like, oh, overwhelm again. Like the spray, the lotion. Like I need to know. Like I
So
just need to
how
know.
would they do that? How would someone display their products and tell you what you need? Like, I don't understand. What would they
Well,
say? If you're this, if you're that, how would they convey that on a site?
well, what are the benefits of the spray? I imagine equal application, convenience, quick. So you just say in like maybe like in a hurry, try our SPF spray. Or if you're more, or you could be quirky if it's, you could be like, or if you're more of a lotion person, or if you want to really rub it in, then lotion might be best for you. I don't know. Just give people choices, but tell them like which one to choose based on what sort of character they are. So really speak to them. Like if there's someone who's obviously like just like very active and sort of maybe a mum just wants to spray everyone up, then speak to her. Like tell her that the spray is the best option for her. But if you know you're going to have people who are going to prefer to like just rub it in like lotion and just speak to them, make that character up and just be like, here's the lotion for you, etc. Like just little things like that. Just get creative with
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And I guess it's more of the stuff. They just got a bunch of images with product under and images with
Yeah.
product under. Okay,
Yeah.
lightweight. Now, what do you think about the way that they're positioning the benefits? So this is saying lightweight and not
It's just too
greasy.
much. It should all be like in literally one section. It's just too much scrolling. I wouldn't even get this far really if I was an end user, you know. Um, and then after sun, okay, after sun is pretty easy because it's after sun. But again, there's a lot of options. So it's just about telling the customer, just making it easy for them. It's like at the beginning, if there was like a lotion and an after sun bundle, which I could just add to cart and be ready to go, I'd be happy. But like, why am I all the way down here to get to the after sun? It's just like too much. And then kids as well. So yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
family.
So it's pretty much the same thing over and over again. Okay.
Yeah, it's
So,
just the whole user journey. Like the whole shopping experience hasn't been thought out well enough. That's the only thing. I think literally the only thing that needs work is the imagery and the shopping journey and the
okay.
product placement. So being like, okay, these are your top, let's say these are your top five bestsellers. Let's bundle them together and create an
Mm.
ocean potion care package or bundle or set or whatever. And then, okay, these are like the other ones. Let's just put them on their own and sort of tell the customer that this is what they need, sort of thing.
Freaking brilliant. Oh my God, I love this. Okay, so take me to, since you can't share,
Yeah.
what's a good site? What's a Shopify site that you admire, like, or one that you've worked on so we can compare the difference?
So this is a
Okay,
website.
the top is already clean. So you worked on this, or this is just one that you like?
Yeah, this is the one that I've worked on. So obviously, as you
Okay.
can see, it's just like the pop-up has imagery. It's
It
more
does.
pop.
I noticed that right away. Their pop-up didn't. Okay. Very
Again, like
nice.
each imagery that we created in the studio. So if you just exit out of there, just little things like
The
a
top, I noticed already the header. They
yeah, but
don't have
even just
that.
like the wording, like in the slideshow there, like the perfect tan starts right here. Just little, obviously, like when it comes to web design, your marketing is it's marketing essentially. So like just like island inspired tanning that lasts, just stuff like that. And then as you got two options, you can either find your tan or shop now. And as you scroll down,
Yeah, and again, this is all the important stuff above the folds. That's great.
yeah, as you scroll down, you can see that we're telling them that there's two shades, one for blondes and one for brunettes, and that's it. That's like if you keep scrolling, it's like basically speaking, it's like your two different consumers, which is your brunettes, and then we've got the blondes. But when she first approached me of her website was nothing like this. It was so confusing. It was a bit like the Ocean Potion one. It was just all stock imagery and very like a bit cheesy and stuff, but we sort of just, yeah, got on with this. And then, we've got different sort of stuff for the
And it's
brunettes.
dynamic. I noticed it's
Yeah.
dynamic. Those guys don't have dynamic imagery on their
Yeah, just
page.
stuff like that, which is super easy to implement. And then we've just got shop the collection. So that's it. As you can see, it's
Oh, wow. That's what these
shop.
guys didn't have. Okay.
Yeah, and then you can just keep scrolling, and then you've got sort of like your hero products, such as your precision brush, which is for application. And then if you keep scrolling, you've got a bit more information on the elixir there. And then
Mm.
that's just like your hero product. And then you've just got, again, highlighting that there's two gorgeous shades, because that's really their USP that I wanted to highlight. And then you've got
Oh, I like this, how they're all, you got the different things, quick view right here.
yeah,
Okay.
but again, a lot of it is quite like just repeating like the products, just letting customers know like what's available to buy, bundling things together. And then you come down to like some of the benefits, so like, the ingredients and stuff. And then you've got quick,
Ooh, nice.
just stuff like that, really. The way it's all laid out is a bit more like seamless. And then we talk about here about like, okay, well, why should people buy it? It's like, because it's sheer, it's sort of it's naturally healthy because it's got sun skin protecting stuff in there to protect you from UV rays, and you get a sun drenched glow without having to use sunbeds and be in the sun for too long, etc. And then again,
Mm.
matching a shop collection, and then the professional range goes on and stuff like that. But then if you scroll to like the footer and stuff, obviously you've got like reviews and stuff, and you've just got like, again, opportunity to subscribe again, social media handle, just like little things that every website needs. That
Okay. All right. And then you were talking about some celebrities or whatever. What was that? Or is it just the same thing that it doesn't matter who you are, there are certain sort of best practices that you have to implement?
Yeah, so obviously if you look at like Selena Gomez or Rihanna launching their beauty brands, let's say Fenty Beauty, um, head over to Fenty Beauty.
Fenty Beauty, is that the link? Is that the, oh, here we go.
Yes, the
Okay.
website. So the thing about Rihanna launching Fenty Beauty is Rihanna really like made sure she was connected with everyone when she launched Fenty Beauty. So the reason she's been so successful is because her main thing was like being inclusive, giving the people what
Yes.
they with like the skin shades and stuff like that. And obviously she did her like marketing, her website so well as well. But that was really what it was about, just about like being in touch with your consumer, really. Whereas like you have
Mm.
Beyonce, who just launched like Sacred, which is a hair care brand. But I mean, Beyonce has been so out of touch for a few years now that we have no insight into her life, etc. And it's hard to really like connect with the brand Sacred, which if you want to head over to that, that's
Okay, so when you say she's obviously been in the media for her music, but you're saying we hear her music, but we don't actually have insight into her life or lifestyle, so it doesn't connect to her brand. And maybe I'm completely wrong, but Tracy Ellis Ross, she's got this curly product, and I don't know,
yes.
but you know, it seems like she really connects. She does her own hair and she talks
Yeah,
about
we
it. So
get
it's
to see. Whereas like
okay.
Beyonce was just wearing like wigs and weaves for the past few years, and the thing is, this is a classic example about dropping something that's not in demand. We never asked Beyonce to drop hair care because we never seen her hair. The demand wasn't there, but when she launched it, it was like, well, this is random. She didn't warm us up, she just sort
That's
of
true because
dropped her.
I remember seeing one commercial where she was talking about like or an ad where she's actually doing her own hair, and that's the first time I'd ever seen
Exactly.
anything about
So
it.
the demand wasn't there, but like that's what I'm saying. So that's why it's like really important to like you could be like a beauty brand. My whole point is that you could literally be Beyonce and be a celebrity, but if you're not connected with your consumers and your brand doesn't have like strong roots of why you actually started it, it's going to be really, really hard to actually like have longevity within that brand. And that's what I meant. So like obviously they've got like a stunning website, imagery is all amazing, it's gorgeous, but I just feel like there's no connection there between Beyonce.
What I'm hearing is the story and the connection and really understanding your consumer seems to be hugely
Yeah.
important.
That's why like Selena Gomez does so well with her brand, because
Is this
she's like,
Beyonce's brand? Am I on the right
yeah,
page? This
yeah,
is it?
yeah.
Sacred. Oh, okay. She's trying to be cute. What is this? It's hair care?
Yeah, hair care, yeah,
So what
which
the
her
hell is
mum.
this? Is this a carrying case?
I would love to get my hands on this website. Don't even get me started because the way I would just,
Like, okay, okay.
you know, but like even if you're Beyonce's brand, yeah, like do yourself a favor and have Beyonce as the face on everything, like on the actual website. I do find like this website does lack a little bit.
You're
Um,
so goddamn right. I mean, I'm sort of cursed, but like
like
talking
you've
to
literally
you
got an
and you,
option.
yeah, but you talking to you and then you educating me and us and the audience on the best practices and then going through these different examples really makes what you're saying come to life. Like it's like, wow, yeah,
Yeah.
wow.
So as you can see, this is like, I'm like, hmm. Like oh, the only thing I'm thinking is okay, this is like high technology, scientific. There's obviously been money pumped into this. That's the only reason why you may invest. But in terms of like what is this actually about? Who is this? Like
I don't even
who's
see
actually
people. Yeah,
yeah,
there's no people.
it's like who's actually driving the seat here? Like it's very obvious Beyonce's involvement is limited and it's like a team. But if Beyonce
Mm,
actually was to like be a bit more personable in this brand, we as a consumer would be like, oh wow, we're actually supporting Beyonce, like caring about our hair and we're actually like being looked after. But again, it's just like it's all very sort of, I don't know, like very clinical and sort of lab, like a sort of like a hair lab, and I don't know, it's just not giving. But if you go
my
onto
gosh.
If you go onto Blake Lively's new site, which is Blake Brown
Blake
Beauty.
Brown. Okay. And then we'll look at Selena Gomez. This is so much fun. I'm so glad we did this. Thank you so much, my love. Yeah, at the end, just give us all your information and let me just feed you a whole bunch of business. Like this is so great. So Blake Brown, is that
Yeah,
right? Did I
Blake
get that?
Brown hair will do, and then the website will come up.
Hair?
Yeah, just do that. Type it in Google, and
Oh,
the
I didn't
website
even
will.
know she had any
Yeah, she just launched it after Deadpool release and her new movie,
so
which is
it's,
really
click on this one,
yeah.
blakebrownbeauty.com.
But
Okay.
her website is actually like I'm like a big fan. Like
Look
I
at
actually
this. Oh my God, she's right there, just like what you're saying. Holy frick. Yeah,
imagine that
man.
with Beyonce, like just there with the hair
Okay,
and everything.
okay.
But
All right.
Blake is connected. She genuinely did this out of passion. You know what I mean? So as you can see, like you've got the photo shoot, and this is funny because I imagine Beyonce's brand looking like this, like the beehive, sort of
Yes.
that
All her people, yeah.
all the gorgeous women. Like imagine like a picture of like Kelly Rowland there and her mom, and a gallery of all the black women that she loves, and white women as well, ginger women, anyone, being inclusive. That's why Rihanna does so well. And then if you keep scrolling, like just discover the collection, sold out, sold out, sold out. It's like, oh wow, this is obviously really good. But don't you just see how like this could have been Beyonce's, like with the beehive
Absolutely.
and like it's so golden and bronzy, just like Beyonce. And Sacred isn't on brand for Beyonce. Like
I agree. I agree.
this
And
is
when
more on
you were saying something which I understood, but I can see where there's a disconnect in their marketing concept and the translation of it. Because when you were saying that the other site was very clinical, I guess what they're trying to portray is this is good for your hair, it's going to strengthen your hair, but it does come across as more scientific as opposed to like,
Yeah, and
you know,
Beyonce doesn't have any connotation with scientific. She's associated with glamour, with show business, with big hair, with dancing. So why we don't her fans don't care about clinical lab testing, and we literally love Beyonce's music. We care about the showbiz side, the glamorous side. So give us that. We don't if we want that clinical side, there's already brands for that. We don't need Beyonce celebrity endorsed product to be about that, really. It's very hard to try and like go from being like showbiz to like, if you like it, you should have put a ring on it to like we're suddenly this like hair scientist. It makes no sense. It doesn't to me.
yeah, and there was no like gradual transition into that
Yeah.
kind of roller space.
But you'll find
Okay.
that like celebrities they have egos too, and they often want to come across like really, really smart and really, really business orientated. But actually, because they try to go opposite of what they are and what they've built, and they try to show that like they're actually all about this and other stuff. Okay, we get it, but like we're not connecting with that. We don't see you as that. So it's just too late. You need to stick to what you've built all these years and just come with something that's, if Beyonce came out with like a range of hairspray or something that's like something, even if it was hair extensions or whatever, something that was like, oh, we want that from you. No one asked her for hair care because we never seen her hair really all her life.
So how was that different with how Rihanna introduced Fenty?
Yeah, so I think like with Rihanna, like she's always been known for just having like really good skin and like always being glowy and etc. But I think
So it makes
she's just
sense. Okay.
she's just so real as well. She's from Barbados, so she's so real when it comes to actually like being a woman of color. So when she introduced like this really dark shade of foundation, it was industry breaking. That's how she managed to do it. But then like even with like with Kylie Jenner dropping those lip kits a few years ago, the demand was there. We were like, we want to know what lip liner you've got on. We want to know what lipstick you're wearing. So she dropped the lip kits. The demand was there. You see what I mean? So
I
it's
see
like
what you
either
mean. Like,
either
what are you
like
wearing? What are you wearing? What are you doing? What we see you, and what is that? And we want some of that. And that is
yeah,
not what Beyonce did.
we never had that with Beyonce. We just did not care. We don't even care that we didn't ask for whiskey either. But I think it's so easy to see that like
I
celebrities are
love
just
it.
things because the beauty industry is popping. And when you drop a beauty brand, obviously you're just doing it because you're seeing others do it. We get it, but the demand wasn't there. Like Beyonce could have sold other stuff that would have resonated with her brand as an artist. But she just wanted to be your businesswoman. But
You know who that happened to as well? And I have to double check because maybe her stuff popped off, but I never heard about it after her launch was Serena Williams. I think she had some brand called
beauty,
11 or a
beauty
couple of
brand.
different things. Yeah. And I don't know how they did, but I remember it didn't feel like a match to me. Do you know anything about that? How her
I'm
stuff is
pretty sure
done?
she had a beauty brand or a skincare brand, some sort of beauty brand. And again, no one's asking Serena Williams for beauty stuff. Like, if anything, why wouldn't you drop something sport related, like athleisure or tennis rackets or something? Like, why are you trying to go against what your brand stands for? It's just a classic example of a celebrity having too much money. Like, I was going through Tyra Banks the other day and I see she's got this ice cream parlor based in America called Smy's Ice Cream or Smy's Cream. And it's like no one, like you're literally like one of the world's top models. Like you should drop beauty. You should drop a makeup eyeshadow palette because you've always got a smoky eye. But
Hmm.
obviously, she loves ice cream and I get it. But from a business perspective, I just think it doesn't make sense. Like she would do so well in beauty. But again, it's just what can you
Wow.
celebrities,
Yeah.
they just have too much money and not enough
Money.
people
Yeah.
to
Yeah. And
tell them the truth or tell them no.
real experts. Is this Selena Gomez's line? Am I on the right
Yeah.
page?
So is this the
Okay.
homepage? Yeah. So
Rare
um
beauty. Okay. So did this, do
yeah.
you feel that this is one that worked well or not? Like, is she into beauty? Do people like see her as that for this
The
product?
reason it worked so well is because if you go to Rare Impacts at the top on that button,
Okay.
it's all about the story. She's managed to just do, yeah, it's a lipstick. It's any lipstick. Everyone knows that. It's the story behind the impact
Of
that,
mental health and self-acceptance.
yeah.
Yeah.
And do you know what? It comes from such a genuine place because Selena Gomez has battled with her mental health and a few health conditions and feeling beautiful. So she's actually started up this brand to like empower that and bring women together and raise money. That's why her brand's done so
Mm.
well because there's a cause behind it, there's a story. So yeah, it's just a lipstick, but it's like, well, what does wearing that lipstick mean? What does buying that lipstick mean? To the consumer, it means when I buy this lipstick or this blusher, I'm supporting Selena's vision. I'm supporting this. I'm behind this story. And that's why it's done so well. And obviously it's good product too, but it's really all down to branding. And she's just got it right because it's genuine passion of hers rather than just being like, oh, it's just a quick way to make more money. It's like, no, like this has a story behind it. So that's why Rare Beauty is doing so well, and it has so much impact. And Selena does all her makeup tutorials herself, talks about her, her image and her weight gain and her weight loss and her insecurities and why she's doing her makeup. And it just works really well. And a lot of people feel seen with this brand. So that's why it's doing well. So yeah.
Oh my gosh, honey, I freaking love this. This was beyond educational. I cannot wait to like this is gonna be one of the best edited videos because I'm gonna make sure my guys it's just like it's so good. All of my podcasts are really good, but this one, I don't know, this one's different, special. And I think maybe because you took us behind the scenes and we actually got to dive into um different pages and comparisons and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
it's fun. It's so much fun. I love it. I do.
Yay! So do you, I mean, I think you've given everybody all the best advice. It has to be on brand. You have to have a story, really know your customer. Don't just have stock images, all that kind of stuff. But just in
Yeah.
closing, are there any like so let's say you have a little niece and she's just turning 22 and she comes to you and she's like, hey, Auntie Jasmine, I want to start a Shopify site. I don't have a lot of money. Like, what's your best advice for me? What should I do? What would you tell her? You're just like boom, 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 and
Yeah.
boom. What would those things
I would
be?
be like, there's three things I would ask and make sure that you consider. So number one would be, is there a demand for what you're trying
Okay.
to sell? What you're trying to do? Is there a demand? If there is, how are you gonna, if there's a demand, but people don't yet realize they need that demand, how are you gonna convince people and tell people they need that?
Okay.
If there isn't much of a demand because the product already exists, how are you gonna basically create such a buzz and such a difference within the market that you sort of create a whole new demand for your brand? So, okay, the product's already out there. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of different brands that do them, but how are you going to create a demand for your brand? And I think that's a difference. Like it could be a new product that there is a gap in the market genuinely, and you need to communicate that. But if it's a product where like there is no gap, there is no command really, how are you going to make there a command for your brand? So like, oh my gosh, like we need this brand. We need a brand that's gonna do things this way. We need a brand that's gonna gonna be like this and set the tone for something that's already out there. Um,
Okay. And she'll be like, don't worry, Auntie, I got it. We've got the demand. Like people definitely want this product. We've done market research and we've already got like 2,000 people that are ready to go. So let's say that part is taken care of. What else are you
yeah,
going to tell your little niece?
I'll be like, have you got what it takes? Have you actually got what it takes? Have you got the willpower, the determination, everything? Are you willing to invest into this dream? Because it does cost money. I'm going to be real, it does cost money to get the right team together, to get all the packaging, to get the obviously the photo shoot and stuff, but are you willing to invest? Have you got what it takes? Yeah, the budget doesn't have to be massive, but you do need budget.
Okay.
Are you going to be willing to spend? If you're not, then just don't bother. But if you are going to be willing to spend and you want to be in a position where you can spend, then have you got a plan in action where you're able to raise investment or save enough capital, etc. I think that's something people need to realize that it will cost money, and make sure you're putting the money in the right places. And if there's one thing you should spend all your money, it's definitely in your branding and your marketing. Obviously, product quality and stuff like that, you should already sort of have.
So I'm
But
like,
yeah,
so Auntie Jasmine. So I'm like, yeah, I want to start my Shopify. You know, you're the
yeah,
best in the business. So, and you're like, okay, baby girl. So is there demand? She's like, yes, there's demand. And then you're like, okay, are you committed? Can you do this? You got to put the work in and you have to have a little bit of budget. She's like, yes, Auntie, I've been saving money and I have a couple few thousand. So she's
Mhm.
got the first two ready. What else do you got to tell her?
I mean, like, are you ready to take risk? Like, are you ready to make content, put content out there, put your brand out there, reach out to people, do this, do that, risk what people think of you? I feel like a lot of business owners who want to start either a Shopify business or any sort of business are like, oh, they're always sitting on like, people are going to judge me, people might not receive it well. It's like, okay, you've got the first two, but are you actually willing to take risk right now? Like, are you willing to risk? Are you willing to bet all your money, all your time, everything you've got on this business, and how much does it really mean to you? Because if you have those three, I'm telling you, everything else will work out. Because number one is going to be like, okay, that's all done, market research, etc. Number two, the budget, the investment's going to pay for all the website and marketing you need. The number three is like, okay, am I ready to, like, even if things are going wrong or they're going slow, am I going to see it through? Do I have the willpower? It's probably like my top three things. And then without that, you can't really fail, to be honest.
Oh, wow.
If
Okay.
it's a
Those,
good
that's
product.
amazing. I'm glad I asked you that question in that way, because I thought you were going to say, well, you need to do this with your site, you need to do this, and you need to do this with your site, and you need to do that with your site. And none of it was actually about the site. It was
I
about the
know, because
foundational stuff first.
yeah, because that's just too practical. I feel like Beyonce, you can have loads of money, you can have a whole team, but if you haven't got those stuff like the demand, for example, or the brand story, or just the right position in the market, then it doesn't mean anything. She's probably spent, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, on this. And, I'm sure it's doing quite well. But, at the end of the day, it's just like it's really about those three things I mentioned. Because I know brands who have started with like £500 and are now like multi-million. So I just think it's about that, like those three things, yeah, are probably the most important. Um,
And then the
yeah,
technical stuff and the best practices is just stuff that
all
comes
practical stuff.
after.
Well, yeah, that's just like, you
That's like
learn along
the,
the
I
way.
think what I'm getting is like that stuff is like the window dressing and the drapes of your house. Like you're concerned about the aesthetics, but you really gotta first, you gotta get the solid foundation of your house right. If your house is gonna be sinking
Yeah,
into the river, it doesn't matter how pretty your drapes are or how nice your
yeah.
furniture is.
Attend
Okay.
workshops, masterclasses, webinars on branding. Figure out your brand, because you could have a product. I don't care. You need a brand. That's what's gonna get you the furthest. Whatever you are, whether you sell product, whether you offer a service like us, like whatever it is, your brand is really everything. So I'd be like to her, okay, your brand is where the money is. What's your brand looking like? Work on that, invest in that, spend time on that, make notes on that, write a story, so because it really does come through when consumers come to shop and push comes to shove, your brand really does come to the forefront of everything. Um, so yeah.
Thank you, Auntie. I love you. That's what she's gonna say.
I
Oh
know.
my God, Jasmine, you're so wonderful and beautiful and smart. Thank you so much for your time. We're still gonna stay connected after all this like Shopify stuff. Let me know about maintenance because I'll probably hire you for that. What's in and just educate the people out there. What's involved in maintenance? So once you get your page up and you kind of talk about managing a Shopify site, what does that mean? Like it doesn't, what is
Actually, like,
manage? Because I hear people say I gotta manage it. What do you gotta do?
yeah, literally, like, obviously, like your promotions, like obviously your discount codes, your sales stuff, like banners, based on like seasonal offerings and stuff like that. Obviously, like
Mhm.
orders, email marketing, sort of nurturing your customers. So if someone buys through you, setting up the sales funnel so they come back, and setting up just all of that stuff obviously takes maintenance. It's like having a physical shop. You've got to maintain the window, you've got to maintain the customer service, you've got to maintain the stock,
Oh, so
everything
it's
like
not
that.
just set it and forget. It's not just set it and forget it. Like, because you got to change out inventory, pricing, all that stuff. That's
Yeah,
what the
all that stuff.
management
Like,
part.
clients always like, oh, can you change the prices, or can you add two bundles, or can we do a sale this week, and can we do a sale next week? So just the site's got to be really, really dynamic, so people feel like everything's constantly moving, the shop is still open. Nothing's
Mm.
worse than seeing like an article from like 2019, or Black Friday sale in August or something. No one, it's gonna like you're shut down. So just keeping on top of everything is really, really important.
Awesome.
And changing. You should change your banner like at least once every 3 months, to keep it dynamic and moving and stuff like that. So yeah.
Okie dokie. I get it. All right, Mama. For the people watching, where do we find you? What's your email? What's your website? What are your social handles?
Thebeautyofmarketing.com. Instagram is the Beauty of Marketing Official. On
Okay.
LinkedIn, I'm Jasmine Griffen. Um, and that's pretty much it. And TikTok as well. The Beauty of Marketing is on TikTok, which I'm using mainly as more like a talent attraction tool to like, for like the
Mm,
young, the young people who want to like get a job in beauty marketing and sort of that, which is doing really well because I don't think my clients will really be on TikTok. But
I
yeah,
get you.
that's it. So yeah.
You're a wonderful, dynamic human being, honey. I love you.
Thank you. Love you too.